Cruising offers you the opportunity to learn all kinds of things, including maybe a slightly different way of going shopping. Hi, I'm Nika Waters, and welcome to the Boat Galley podcast. I'm sharing our experience of buying directly from the ship in the Tuamotus, which is something probably in the States I know I had never ever heard of. Today's episode of the Boat Galley podcast is sponsored by Roam Devices. Their Marine Monitor is a premium boat monitoring system that allows you to stay informed with what's happening on your boat while you're ashore for just $349 for the equipment and $5 a month for the service. Never be caught off guard by a failing battery or a burned out bilge pump. Your boat will text you as soon as anything starts going wrong. The Roam Devices app shows a real-time view of your boat's status and location with an awesome built-in remote anchor alarm. RoamDevices.com. Never worry about your boat from afar again. Use coupon code BOATGALLEY for an exclusive 5% discount. Let me set the scene for you. Empty beer bottles in the backpack? Got 'em. Bags in a separate backpack? Got 'em. Cash in hand? Got it. Wearing bathing suits, sunscreen, got shoes, got sunglasses, got bottles of water? All set. It's actually time to go shopping. Our new friends, Robert and Mina, in front of whose house we had anchored in Takaroa, had offered to bring us with them when they went across the lagoon to meet the Mareva Nui. The Mareva Nui is a supply ship that arrives once every 3 or 4 weeks from Tahiti. They had ordered a few cases of Coke ahead of time, saving a lot of money over both the store price and the ship price. What? The ship price? See, the supply ship doesn't only bring in items that have been pre-ordered by stores or by individuals, but some of them will even set up their own store on the dock, complete with a kiosk and receipts. I kind of think about it the way you might go into a lumberyard in the States, and you go in and you pay ahead of time, and then you go with your receipt in hand to go pick up the wood or whatever you need, but you have to have the receipt in order to be able to get the car out of the lumberyard. We had heard about this idea of buying from the ship, and actually had seen it without totally understanding what it was when we were in Hao, our second atoll, but we had no idea how to go about it. And as a friend pointed out, how difficult could it be? But still, having a local's guidance gave us the courage to give it a go. Really, our prime goal was less expensive beer. We knew what the price was in the store, and we were hoping that it would be a little less hard on the budget by buying from the ship. Vegetables likely to be a little more hit or miss proposition because they get hauled in and out of what may or may not be a refrigerated container on the ship at each stop that it makes, and are picked over at each stop that it makes. Mina pointed out it's cheaper from the ship, but it's better quality from the store. On this run, Takaroa was the 5th stop for the Mareva Nui. It headed first to Rangiroa, and then a second anchorage in Rangiroa, and then to Ahe, and then to Manihi. And beer doesn't suffer from being handled. It won't go bad, unlike the vegetables. We were pretty sure, or we were hoping anyway, that beer would definitely be a possibility. One caveat about buying things from the ship is that you actually need to buy items in relatively big quantities. You have to buy a whole case of beer, and you have to have the bottles to exchange. You have to buy a kilo of carrots. You can't buy half kilos or a single bottle, and if actually you don't even have the beer to exchange, the bottles to exchange, beer might be challenging. But between cash flow and storage space, this might present a challenge both for locals and for other boaters. Clearly, we prioritize having some space for beer aboard. There are also limited offerings from the ship as opposed to the store because the ship is bringing in things. I'm not sure. Is it based on a good deal they got? Is it based on excess things that the store didn't want anymore? I have no idea. But the store, local stores, probably have a standard order of items that they usually stock for the local inhabitants and the tastes of the people who live there. All right, got that all set. Promptly at 6:45 in the morning, Robert and Mina's friend Tuki arrived from town in his open Ponga-style motorboat to take everyone shopping. And by 7:15, the boat was alongside Calypso. We had already shuttled all of our stuff: the plastic case of bottles, a backpack with more bottles, a bag of bags, those shoes and the sunglasses and the bottles of water. We had already moved all that stuff into the dinghy so that it would be easier to transfer the things into the Ponga. And once we'd gotten everything settled, we were off for the 2-mile journey across the lagoon, which was a wild, wet ride. Waves and spray flying across the boat. We were incredibly grateful that Robert and Mina had asked and that Tuki had agreed to take us across in that boat, because it would have been a lot rougher in our dinghy. The dock at Takaroa was a hotbed of activity. Cranes from the Mareva Nui swung pallets that were filled with barrels of jet fuel, boxes of washing machines, cases of beer and soda. Forklift drivers wearing hard hats moved steel containers and more pallets around the dock like chess pieces. We actually nicknamed one guy Mario Andretti because he was so fast and so precise with driving that forklift. There were open flatbed trucks from one of the local stores or from the commune itself, or even the fire department, and they backed up to the edge of the quay, filled using that forklift and a whole lot of brute labor, and off they went. About a dozen dogs milled around while people greeted each other with smiles and laughter. This was clearly the social event of the day, and maybe even the month. In the shade of the main building on the dock, a vegetable table had been set up. There were boxes of cabbage, carrots, cucumbers, limes, apples. There was a precarious pile of flats of 20 eggs, each wrapped in plastic film. And a couple of people sat on folding chairs behind the piles, but they weren't selling anything. They were just hanging out, part of the social scene. And nearby, there was a whole tower of beer cases and a pallet with shrink-wrapped soda 6-packs and individual water bottles. A small blue and white shed with the letters TMTO Mareva Nui in red stenciled lettering on the side had been swung by that crane off of the ship into a strategic position in sight of the ship and the dock and the main road. Robert and Mina showed us that this was where the kiosk was, and we needed to get in line to go pay for whatever it was that we wanted to buy. We got in line to start the whole process. A couple of things we learned. You have to have a plastic case with your beer bottles to exchange. We went in wanting to buy 2 cases, and the guy in the kiosk couldn't quite grab that we were going to be exchanging the case and then shifting all of the filled new bottles of beer into the backpack while we put all the empty ones from the backpack into that case to exchange it again. We wound up having to get into line twice to take care of this. Some items are sold by the ship. Others are sold in a private deal through the captain. If it's sold by the ship, you pay for it and get a receipt at the kiosk. If they're sold in a private deal through the captain, you hand over the cash to the guy right there. And it's hard to tell what is what just by looking, because everything's displayed on the same table. But when you go and say, yes, I'd like to buy limes and eggs, and those are sold by the captain, they'll tell you that at the kiosk. So you have to go pay at the table. A suggestion is to look hard at the quality of the vegetables before you pay for them, because sometimes the captain will let you choose your own, and sometimes he's the one picking. So hopefully it all works out. But if you look and all you see on inspection is mushy cucumbers, you're not going to get good ones even if you're the one picking them. And I would imagine that once you've paid the kiosk, you're not going to get any money back. So check to see if the quality is reasonable before you buy it. Shopping at the ship was definitely an experience we will be looking to repeat. It's not a one-stop shop. We especially needed onions, which the ship was not offering, not that time around. But the price, particularly on beer, was certainly worth it. A case of beer in the stores in Takaroa, which was not involving any kind of a case discount. It's just here's what it is per bottle, and they'll multiply it by the 20 bottles of beer. The case price in Takaroa was 7,000 francs. The case price from the ship, 5,500 francs. I'll take that $15, thank you very much. That might buy me a cabbage or two. Cruising offers the opportunity to learn new things all the time, even ones you maybe didn't have any idea you needed to learn about. And they really wind up making for a very, very interesting experience. I can't wait to share an anchorage with you where we get to toast to our incredible good fortune at being able to learn life lessons in beautiful places from wonderful people. Thank you so much for listening to the Boat Galley podcast. We love hearing from our listeners. We love it when you don't forget to subscribe. We love it when you leave us a 5-star review. And we love it when you share us with your friends. The Boat Galley is all about making boat life better. And we hope we've done that for you just a little bit today. Have the most spectacular week.